So at this point, we have learned 3 different ways to solve systems. All 3 of them were on your last quiz. You remember what was on the first page of that quiz? What did you have to do on the first page? You graphed them. You graphed 2 lines and you look for where they crossed, right? You can solve a system that way. That's 1. Number 2 is that equal values thing. Remember where we just took the 2 equations, stuck them together with an equal sign in between? All right. Number 3 was substitution. We just reviewed that. And this is going to be our 4th. This is called elimination. This is my personal favorite one. I think you guys are going to like this too. So we just do a couple examples together. I don't really have a lot of notes. We'll just dive right into it. Have you seen this before? Okay. All right. So turns out that if you have 2 equations that are all lined up with each other, see how everything's stacked, the x's and the y's and the equals. If you've got 2 equations in this format, it is a legal move to simply add the 2 equations together. You're allowed to do that. You can do that. If anybody's curious why, we can get into the technicalities of it. But let's just go through an example. Will you guys just trust me that it's okay to do that? All right, here we go. Help me out here. Ooh, let's squeeze a little 1 in front of this x. What am I going to get when I add negative 2x and negative 1x? Negative 3x, agreed? Okay, let's bring that down underneath, negative 3x. What am I going to get when I add negative 6y and positive 6y? Nothing, right? They're going to cancel each other out. Nothing is going to be left. In fact, I'm just going to cross them out. Does anybody think they have figured out why we call this the method of elimination? We just eliminated our y's. Bring your equal sign down, and then go ahead and add your constants over here also. This is pretty easy. 0 plus negative 27 is just negative 27. That's step 1. Add your 2 equations together. Oh my gosh. No more y's. Do you think you'd be able to solve that equation, figure out what x is? Do it. Do it. You got this. Negative 3 is multiplying by the x, so I'm going to divide to get rid of it. Did I do that right, or should it be negative 9? It is positive? Negative divided by a negative is positive, right? Okay. It's good for us to double check that because we all know we make mistakes with those negatives. Okay, are we done? We got half of our answer, but that was pretty easy, wasn't it? That first step was pretty easy and fast. Now, before we go do the second step, can I get you guys to just do that much on the second equation here? We haven't finished this yet. We're going to come back to it. Look at number 2 and do the same thing. Add those 2 equations together for me. And see if you can solve and get half of your answer. Do you see something eliminating? What's eliminating in this system? Are the x's going to eliminate or the y's? The x's, right? Negative 3x and positive 3x. Those cancel when we add them together. They're gone. These don't. 4 and 10 is 14. Oh, 15 and 27. 10 and 27 is 37 plus the 5 will give us 42. Sum. And then we could divide. Yeah. Love it. Let's divide by 14. Those cancel. Y equals, is it 3 you said? Yeah. How awesome is this, right? Pretty easy so far. Is it going to get harder? Yeah, just a smidge, just a tiny little smidge, because we're not done with either of these, right? We feeling good so far about this first step in both of them. This is why I wasn't lying when I said I think you guys are going to like this. All right, now, you guys with me? Now, we still need a y for this one, correct? So what I need to do now is I need to do the same thing we've been doing. I got to go back to one of my original equations, and I'm going to need to solve it for y. I'm going to need to put this 9 in place of the x in one of these equations and solve for y. So look at these originally 2 equations and tell me which of those looks a little bit the most friendly to you in terms of solving for y. I'd say neither of them are very ideal. You like the top one? You like the bottom one? Top, bottom. All right, you make your decision. I'm just going to go top because that's the first one I saw. But you can do either one. We're going to get the same answer. Spoiler alert, it doesn't matter which one you pick, you'll get the same answer. Okay. I'm going to choose to go to the top one. So I'm going to copy the top one down. Now, as I'm copying the top one, am I going to leave out my x's or am I going to leave out my y? What do you think? Am I going to leave out my x or my y when I copy this? I'm going to leave out my x because I got a number I can put in place of x, right? This is x equals 9. I don't want to accidentally put this 9 in place of y. That wouldn't be right. The 9 is x. So let's copy this top equation down, or whichever one you choose. I'm going top, and I'm leaving out my x. And in place of that x, we'll put this 9. And I'm just going to double check, did I get that 9 in the right place? Because I see this mistake, and I've made this mistake lots of times. I put it in place of the x, right? Yep. All right, do you think you could solve that equation? It's going to take a couple steps, but do you think you can do it? We can go ahead and multiply this out. Negative 2 times 9 is negative 18. Sound right? And yeah, we'll just start getting that y by itself. Let's take care of addition subtraction first. We could get rid of that minus 18. And then we could get rid of the negative 6 by dividing. And then we should have a number for y, and then we'll be done. Ooh, positive or negative? Negative. Positive divided by a negative. The signs are different. When we divide and the signs are different, it's negative. So that's negative 3, and boom, there we go. We got our answer. X was 9, y is negative 3. We're done. Okay, now, usually when I show this to my students and I show them the first part, they're like, that's super easy. And then I show them the second part, they're like, that takes a lot longer, right? So it's a little bit of a trade-off. When we were doing substitution, the first couple steps were the long part, and then the last part, it was really easy to turn it around and get y. Now it's the opposite. It's going to be really easy to get x, but it's going to take a little bit longer to get y. But overall, I still think this is quicker than substitution, personally. All right, so can I get you guys to finish up number 2 here? Follow those same steps. Your next step is going to be to choose which of these equations look like it's going to be easier to solve. And this time we're solving for, we still need x, right? Because we've got y already. We're solving for x. So are you going to choose the top or the bottom equation? Which one looks easier to you? Bottom one. The bottom one doesn't have any negatives. That's kind of nice. Bottom? Okay, let's go bottom. Now, when I copy this equation over, am I going to leave out my x's or my y's this time? X's or y's that I'm going to leave out? We're going to leave the x's out. What are we going to put in place of x? Is x equal to 3 though? What's equal to 3? We need to leave the y out, don't we? This is a little bit different. You want to make sure, because it's really, this is where the mistakes happen in these types of problems. A lot of people are going to take this 3 and put it in place of x instead of the y. Could you see yourself making that mistake if you're going really quickly or you're a little nervous on a test? I make it all the time. So I always double check myself. So I'm going to leave the y out. And the reason I left out the y is because y is 3. So we'll plug that right in there. And then we just got to solve. Go ahead and do a couple steps of algebra there for me. Let's get X. Almost there. All right, make sure you get those steps down. See if you're agreeing with my final answer there. All right, I got a couple questions for you guys, but I'll give you a chance to ask me questions first. What do you guys have wonderings about for this? Is anybody wondering if this is going to get a little bit harder? It's usually what happens in math, right? We show you something, we get you really comfortable with it and confident at it, and then we make it a little tougher. And then you get feeling pretty good about that, and then we make it a little tougher, right? That's kind of how we learn, right? If we just sat here and did stuff we already knew how to do all the time, that wouldn't really be learning, would it? So it will get a little trickier, but not today. Not today. We'll get in the last step on Monday, and you guys will be great with that too. Let me ask you a couple questions. Can you show me your thumb meter and show me how are you feeling? Where's your confidence right now with doing this elimination? Okay, that's good. I'm seeing learning zone. I'm seeing from like halfway to full tilt. I'm super confident. That's good. And if you are feeling kind of down and the thumbs down, just get my attention and I'll help you out with it. My second question is, how much do you like doing these? We're gonna see answers all over the board here. Okay. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for your honesty. I'm seeing some thumbs way down, some negative likes. That's all right. That's all right. Okay, my big thing is I want you to be confident with it first, and then maybe once we're super confident, then maybe we'll grow to like it a little bit more. So if you're feeling pretty good, I'm going to have you get busy on 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to put answers up on the screen so you can check as you go. If I can find my answers. Where's my packet? I'll have to poke around and find. I'm not sure where my packet took off to. I'll put answers on the screen in just a moment. Your job right now is to finish those 4 problems, 3, 4, 5, 6. Work with a neighbor, talk it out. If you want to move and sit with somebody else, I'm okay with it during this time. When you're finished with that, I'll give you the homework assignment. Did anybody pick up any of the paper that was sitting right underneath the window in the sun there? That is not our homework assignment. That was our homework assignment from Tuesday. We're going to skip that. Actually, if anybody wants to do it, I'll give you bonus points if you want a little extra practice. But you don't have to do it. All right, once you're done with all 4 of these, get my attention. I'll give you the homework assignment. You can spend the rest of your time looking on that. Questions before we move on? Yes. You're done with these? Let me put the answers up so you can check. I'll bring you homework in a sec. Yes. You got an individual question? Yeah, I'll come around and answer individual questions here in a sec. I'll bring it around. Question? Same? All right, let's get on it, guys. I'll bring the homework around. Let me see if I can find answers so I can put them. Okay. I got answers up on the screen here. So check those as you go. Get my attention if I can help you out. Some of you are patiently waiting for the homework, and I'll have that for you in just a sec.